Get ready, Hollywood. Wedding bells are about to ring for two of the industry's most influential names, Australian actress and model Pia Miller and multimillionaire talent agent Patrick Whitesell. Since it's highly unlikely that we mortals are going to get an invitation to attend the biggest wedding of the year in 2021, we got all the hot goss. Here's everything you need to know about next year's wedding of the year.
But first, a simple reminder on how to enter our brand new giveaway. We will be giving away either an iPhone X Max, the new iPad mini, or a MacBook Pro. It's all your choice. So be sure to leave a like, comment the keyword, subscribe, and turn on notifications to enter the giveaway. It's really that simple.
Number 1. The budget is infinite. You're probably wondering how much this big-time couple is willing to spend when they tie the knot. Well, the answer is that they're not keen on setting a limit when it comes to their wedding budget. An insider told New Idea magazine that no expense will be spared for the wedding because Patrick wants Pia to have everything that she wants. This is actually not surprising because Whitesell's fortune is the main reason he's famous and is why all eyes are on his wedding. Patrick has amassed an estimated fortune of $440 million just from his job as co-CEO of the William Morris Endeavor talent agency. It's pretty hard to think of anyone else who could top the wedding these two are planning, which is why we're confident enough to declare theirs as the wedding of 2021, although 2020 hasn't even ended yet. Next, the venue. Aside from his impressive fortune, Patrick also has a collection of breathtaking and luxurious properties across the globe. So we're expecting that the wedding will take place at one of his estates in Malibu, Beverly Hills, or maybe even one of his properties abroad. The lovely couple is currently staying at Patrick's Malibu home, which boasts a stunning view, an outdoor pool, and a sweeping deck overlooking the water. It's beautiful and fancy enough to be the venue for 2021's wedding of the year. But who's to say they won't choose any one of Whitesell's other properties? After all, he had already done his wedding proposal inside the extravagant Malibu home in November, so they might hold the wedding at a different place, just to shake things up. Speaking of their engagement, check out Pia's huge engagement ring, which she promptly debuted on Instagram after saying yes to Patrick back in November. The solitaire oval diamond butte is estimated to be worth between $800,000 and $1.4 million. Now, can you imagine how much their wedding bands will be? Next up, the guest list. We're expecting some pretty heavy industry names to be in attendance for the wedding. After all, the client list of WME includes personalities like Hugh Jackman, Kate Beckinsale, Matt Damon, and Ben Affleck. But one celebrity couple who almost certainly will attend is Ryan Seacrest and his girlfriend Shayna Taylor. They're very close with the engaged couple and even went away on holiday with Patrick and Pia on the Amalfi Coast last year. Next, where will the couple live after the wedding? It seems to make a lot of sense for the couple to just continue living in Patrick's Malibu mansion or any of his other extravagant properties. But let's not forget that the former home and away actress also has a luxurious $7.8 million home in Sydney's eastern suburbs. With 5 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms, Pia's home would make for a stunning and spacious family home for her, Whitesell, Pia's 2 teenage sons, and any other kids she might be planning to have in the future. Miller bought the property just in March of 2020, so it would be pretty devastating to give it all up to move to California permanently. She'd certainly end up missing her luxury marble kitchen, underheated oak flooring, and her large backyard that's complete with a tiled pool and a cabana. And what about her twin flat screens that are said to be worth $30,000 together? Well, we suppose Pia could still hold on to this majestic property, but perhaps only as a vacation spot or as a rest house for the entire family. After all, she doesn't seem to oppose the idea of moving to LA for good. Back in 2018, TV host Carl Stefanovich asked her if she would ever move to Tinseltown, and her brave reply was, "If Hollywood calls." And now, Hollywood is calling for sure. Not to say that Pia can't make it as a huge star herself, but her soon-to-be husband's stature and influence can definitely help her get there much faster. But then again, WME also has a branch in Sydney, so it's really anyone's guess what these two will end up doing and where they'd end up staying after next year's wedding. When you're as rich as the soon-to-be Whitesells, the whole world is your oyster. In fact, it seems her new exposure in Hollywood already has casting agents eager to knock on her door to work with her, especially after she starred alongside Eva Longoria in Dora and the Lost City of Gold in 2019. Now, we can't really talk about the upcoming wedding between Miller and Whitesell without also talking about how they got here. Many people call it a whirlwind romance, but we can understand why these two are not keen on taking their sweet time. After all, Pia is 37 years old and Patrick is 55, and they both come from failed marriages. In 2005, Miller met AFL football player Brad Miller, and he eventually became her first husband. The two seemed perfect for each other, and they were happy for a good while. In fact, they became parents to a boy named Lennox, born in October 2006. At the time, Miller was already a single mom to her first son, Isaiah Loyola. After a full decade of marriage with Brad, though, Pia announced that they were calling it quits in 2015. Back then, they said things didn't work out because both of them had hectic work schedules. Pia said she would be stuck filming for the whole day and then race home to make dinner. She said it felt like she was working full-time in both places. While it could have been equally rewarding, Miller said she was trying to do everything and it took a toll on her physically. So she just had to take a break. And now she's marrying a multi-millionaire. Guess it's safe to assume she never has to race home to make dinner again. But going back to the story, Pia split up with her first husband and was then linked to film producer and businessman Tyson Mullane. The two announced they were dating exclusively on Valentine's Day in 2016. They were also briefly engaged, as they announced in November 2017. She posted the good news on Instagram, writing, "In 100 different lifetimes, in 100 different worlds, in any version of reality, I'd find you and I'd choose you. Yes today, yes always." Despite how feverishly happy they both appeared to be together, the lovebirds never made it to the aisle. While neither confirmed the end of their engagement, they quietly unfollowed each other on social media, and people started noticing that Pia was no longer wearing her engagement ring starting in April 2019. Miller also revealed that it wasn't easy being a single mom for most of her kids' childhoods. She told Elle magazine that the struggle of balancing motherhood and her career as a model back then was a struggle. She said, "I was in my late teens caring for a baby, working, bringing him to shoots and worrying that maybe I was damaging him in some way while everyone else was out finding themselves or whatever." Still, Pia said she wouldn't have it any other way. Quote, "But somehow I don't feel like I missed out because as soon as the boys were older, I got a presenting job with Qantas and was able to see the world that way. Around the same time, she also landed her home and away role, so it all worked out for her, just in a different order than she originally planned." Just like Miller, Patrick Whitesell also had a tumultuous history with love before his present engagement. At least Pia was able to end her last relationship quietly, whereas all the juicy details of Whitesell's divorce were splashed on page 6. Well, just in case you've forgotten, the biggest celebrity scandal of 2019 was Whitesell's wife leaving him for Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos. In January 2019, the bombshell report broke that Jeff and his wife Mackenzie were getting a divorce after 25 long years of marriage. Just hours after that, we learned that Bezos was already in a relationship with Lauren Sanchez. That's Whitesell's ex-wife. The most painful part of all this for Patrick was that he himself introduced Jeff Bezos to his then-wife Lauren. The four of them were actually friends because they had houses near each other in Seattle. According to Inquirer, they had found that Lauren and Bezos took their clandestine meetings across 5 states, where they rendezvoused in private jets and swanky limos, took helicopter rides, went on romantic hikes, visited 5-star hotel hideaways, had intimate dinner dates, and took part in other forms of quality time in hidden love nests around the world. The gossip site added that it had gotten its hands on some raunchy messages and erotic selfies, including a text from Bezos that read, "I love you, alive girl." The tabloid said it also found racy photos of both Bezos and Sanchez, including one that was, quote, "too explicit to print." Can you imagine how Patrick must have felt knowing what took place between his ex-wife and someone he considered a close friend and trusted enough to introduce to the love of his life? So there, people can say all they want about Pia and Patrick's union being a whirlwind marriage, but if we were to take clues from the past relationships of these two lovebirds, we'll know that just because two people have been together for decades, that doesn't mean they're in it for eternity. By the same logic, we can't assume that what Patrick and Pia have is not real just because they're tying the knot 1 year within getting to know each other. Maybe this time everything will work out in their marriage. A lot of this remains to be seen, but at least next year we'll see Pia and Patrick in full wedding regalia once again as shining reminders that no matter how much you get hurt in the past, love is always worth another shot.